Hi, this is Dr. Georgia. I hope you find today's message a blessing in your life. We want to make sure that we continue to provide these video messages for you when you can't come to church, or for those of you who live in a different state, or we noticed recently we have a lot of people in even different countries who are tuning in. So if that is you and you can donate to us, we invite you to hit that donate button just below the message here. So thanks so much.
Thank you, CSA. So, I have a question. Would anyone here like to maximize your creative power? Anyone? Yeah? Good. Okay, we have a few of you. All right, well, the rest of you can stick around because we're all going to do this together. All right, so here at CSA, we know, as we've been saying already this morning, there is one thing, right? One power, one energy, in and through all of creation, including me and you and everything, right? So that's some pretty good news. And then we take it even further when we acknowledge and know that because we are all made up of this creative energy, we are creative. We create our lives with our thoughts, with our feelings, with our beliefs. That's cool, right? Now, I know some of us, when we first get this good news, we're like, oh my God, I'm gonna manifest some stuff, you know, right? Like, yeah, that is so cool. And it goes really well. And then sometimes, well, this probably hasn't happened to any of you, but sometimes what can happen, and has happened for me, is there's maybe something I really, 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 really want, and it's not manifesting. Do you know what I'm talking about? And then sometimes some of us start to say things like, what's wrong with my consciousness? That I'm not manifesting, right? And that's fun. That's a fun place to be. So what we want to talk about today is maximizing our creative power, and the way that we maximize our creative power is to co-create with the divine. Do you know what I'm saying? Co-create with the divine. That's when things get really fun. What else popped in my head? That's when things get really messy, but okay. That's when things get really fun, because we're letting in the power of the universe into our creation. So do you want to talk about that? What do you think? All right, let's go. Melissa?
Thank you, C.
You're welcome.
So cute. I married that. Never a day goes by that I consider being sorry about that choice, I'll tell you. So the thing about co-creation, I love definitions, right? So I looked it up just to see. So, yes, you're welcome. If that was for me, you're welcome. You're welcome anyway. So, co-creation, collaboration, same thing, right? The action of working with someone to produce or create something. The action of working with someone to produce or create something. So what's implied here is that for the of co-create, there's someone or something else helping, participating, joining us in the creative process, right?
Right.
We don't just talk about creating our reality, because God help us if we did. Sure, we'd make a mess of things. I know I would. But we co-create with the divine. There is an otherness, right? Now, I don't know about you, but my experience of collaboration and co-creation is when I do that with other human beings, you know, it's a lot more fun when I'm co-creating with someone I know and like. Right? I mean, anybody else had to ever be like assigned to collaborate with someone who's sort of like, okay, right? times. Okay, so what I am suggesting is that we can deepen our liking, our relationship, our joy in relating, communing, and being with the divine, spirit, the all, whatever you call it. The great news about it is it doesn't care what you call it, and you can't call it anything that describes it anyway. Right? So just call it. So when we can do all kinds of things. That's what we come here for, right? We take classes, we meditate, we pray, we go play with our kids and pets, we walk in nature. Whatever it is that we do that nurtures, fosters, enriches that relationship. That relationship. Okay, so just in case any of you are going there, I am indeed talking about that relationship as if spirit is outside of you. Anybody panicking? I used to. So when Z and I went to ministerial school, obviously, because we're ministers. You have to go to ministerial school to become a minister in this movement. So I did the resistance dance, kicking and screaming about that, for about 20 years. I knew it was something, I had heard a voice suggesting, and I just kept saying, God, that's not spirit telling me that, that's my ego. And I'm not listening to that anymore like that, 20 years. So, fast forward 20 years, I give in, I let go, I realize, oh, that's a calling. And so I go to ministerial school, with Z actually, it turns out. So, the very beginning of ministerial school, one of the classes that we took was this class that really changed both of our experiences of our relationship with spirit. Because we were doing that spirit is everywhere, spirit's in me, co-creating thing. But we weren't really consciously deepening our devotional kind of, they call it the I-thou relationship with the spirit that is also outside of me. You with me? Okay, so that changed radically, really fast for both of us and started happening. And both of us started having communication, guidance, clarity given to us by spirit in all these different ways. There was this one day that I was doing some business transactions. I was doing emails and things. And with this person, it was so hard dealing with this person. I was so glad it was a one-time event. But I had to get through the event and pretend at least to be ministerial in my consciousness about it. I got this particularly nasty email. Oh, man. And what I did was I went into Z's office and said, do I have any commitments today? Because I'm going to the beach. I need to walk on my favorite beach. Sometimes that's what it takes for me. So I get to the beach. Now, driving all the way out to the beach, I'm knowing that I'm going to get to the beach, I'm going to get out of my car, I'm going to get to my spot, by the water, walking along the water, and I'm going to have a conversation by God, and I mean by God, about what to do about this person and what to say back to this nasty email. How to be kind and get the job done, collaborate. Yeah. So I get out, I go down by the water, I start walking, and what comes out of my mouth when I start to pray? God, why are you making me go to ministerial school? I was crying, it's not funny. It was really hard. It was the beginning of ministerial school in particular, yeah. A friend said, welcome to ministerial school where we rip off your face and give you a new one. So I'm crying and I say that, why, really, seriously, beseechingly, brokenheartedly, why are you making me do this? And I hear this, like from the Bible, kind of booming, loud voice say, you have no idea. It literally literally stopped me in my tracks. I mean, it was so, what? and I got tears spraying to my eyes, and I heard it again. You have no idea. And what I knew in that moment on this very deep and visceral level was, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be way better than good. It's going to be awesome, and I got this. So just shut up and do school. But because I had been really beginning at a new level to develop this relationship with the divine, what happened for me was when I heard the voice, first of all, I recognized it, that it was spirit, and I had this very immediate response of relief. Like, oh, it's gonna be great, okay. Now, I took the long road through school, and the entire time, there were a lot of times along the way, not the entire, I wasn't suffering the entire time, but there were a lot of times where I was like, what? This is so intense and so hard and so much, and I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to, I knew I wasn't called to do what Reverend Georgia Prescott does. Thank God for those people. But that was not my, like, I did not want to do that. So every time that would come up, what happened that was very different for me was, I was like, yes, I don't like this part. But it wasn't like, this must be wrong. Because I knew, I had been told, you have no idea. And I knew that that was reassurance, that it was gonna be awesome. And I tell you what, we have been out of school 3.5 years. We just became ordained. It's a long road for that. And it's been 3.5 years that we have had Oh My God Life, which is our ministry, our very own thing. And I have to say that every single day that I get to do ministry with this being, no matter what part of it we're doing, I'm talking about the little details that drive anybody crazy. Like, I am having more fun than I have ever had doing anything at any other time in my life. Ever. And we got more to go. I mean, I'm thinking we're going to be doing this a while. We don't plan to ever retire. Like, retire from what? We're just playing. So, yeah. So here's the thing about co-creating with someone. Has anyone here, besides me, ever been assigned a collaborating, and I mean air quotes collaboration, with someone who's not really so much a collaborator, more of a dictator? Yeah. And you're supposed to just be on board, and you call it collaborating, and you're supposed to be happy doing that, right? So is that fun? No. So I think that we need to leave a little room for spirit to have some fun. So that means not giving all the details. Not filling in, I want this life, I want this car, I want this relationship, whatever, and I want you to bring it to me like this. I want it to be this color, this year, this tall, this short, this personality, whatever, all the details, right? I'm just gonna tell you, that's like, you know, Burger King, make it your way, right? I'm just placing my order. Like, I'm not collaborating with you here, I'm just letting you know what you have now to go do. So go on with your bets. I'll just wait here. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about co-creating. And what we do that we love, which are a few hacks to get ourselves out of the details, we call it, in Science of Mind, we call it outlining. Now, it's interesting we call it that, because outlining is not the details really, but we call it outline when you give like all the details. And what we as a teaching suggest is that you get to the essence of what it is you are wanting, the longing for. A car. Oh, I really want a red Corvette, 76. whatever. What you really are wanting is to be able to get from here to there in an accountable way, or you want freedom, the essence, right? We get down to the essence of what it is we're wanting. So our hacks are this, to get ourselves to feel it, because feeling it is the most important thing. That's what escalates the speed. It speeds up the bringing of the thing. It helps spirit know what it is you're wanting when you say, I want to feel like this about that, right? So to get ourselves to feel like this when we're not there yet, right? So these are the 3 hacks for that. So the reason we call oh my God life is because the phrase that we say to ourselves when we are pleasantly surprised is, oh my God. So that's why it's oh my God life. So one hack is to find your phrase. What is the phrase that you say to yourself when you get a great surprise phone call, some old friend you love finds you on Facebook, whatever it is, the happy surprise. That phrase, you find that phrase and you use it in your conversation and getting yourself to the feeling of what you want. And then there's 2 other phrases that we love. Beyond my wildest dreams. I allow you, I welcome you, I invite you, and I ask you to make it beyond my wildest dreams. And the other phrase is better than I can even imagine. Better than I even can imagine. And you know what is really kind of scary, awesome, mind-blowing? Every time you do that, it will be more amazing than you could have imagined. Case in point. I wasn't thinking a girl. Kind of a girl, yes. Kind of a girl. Aspects of girlness happening. The good news is that as you start, as Z already said something about, the stuff hits the fan when you do this work. The good news is that because you have been cultivating your communion, your relationship with the divine, that when that happens, you know what's happening. You trust. This stuff that is happening, my life falling apart, this is the answered prayer. That's what's happening. And it's going to be better than I can imagine. And so I didn't imagine the falling apart part. Praise God for that faith. And you can get yourself there with that relationship. That's the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I have a story, an example of this in action. Over 10 years ago now, I went to a talk at Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa by Wednesday evening talk by this person named Melissa Phillippe. Maybe you've heard of her. I had never heard of her or seen her before. So this Melissa Phillippe person is giving this talk, and one of the things she mentioned in that talk was this idea of, oh my God, beyond anything that I can imagine, beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my God, because I had been into metaphysical teachings for a while at that point, and I was a good little manifester, right? I had done my prayer and my affirmations and meditation and all that kind of stuff, and I'd manifested a lot of really cool stuff, except in one area. Right? Anybody know this one? Except in one area, and the area was relationships. So ever since I, as a youngster, had embarked upon the wild and wacky road of intimate relationships, I had some work to do. I had some things to figure out. So the first one was sexual orientation. I grew up in Ohio in the 1970s. Wow. There were no gay people there. None, as it turns out. So it took a little while to figure that out, right? Gay, check. Okay. Then there was the gender expression. That was the next one. like, oh, okay, gender rich is the term I use. And so I finally, oh, gender rich, gender expression. Yes, check, I got that. But then there was something else, a little pattern. And this was a pattern of being attracted to unavailable people. Oh, right? What is that about? Yeah, well, more on that. So my experience was, if someone was attracted to me, I found them not at all attractive. And if someone was not attracted to me, like especially if someone wanted nothing to do with me, I found them very, very attractive. Oh yeah, gotta get me some of that. So, needless to say, it wasn't really working very well for me, and I knew that. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to Melissa, and I'm like, oh, right. Better than I can imagine, because what I can imagine is not working, right? Like, I'm imagining something, but yeah, like, kind of cool, kind of not. So, yeah. And in fact, at that point, I had been doing I was a good little science mind person, I'd been doing my 5-step treatment about a relationship, a new relationship. And what I was getting was a lot of unavailable people, because that's where I was, right? That's what I still believed was possible for me, and I got it, like, oh, I have not been co-creating. I have not been a good co-creator at all. I need to lead in spirit on this one. And that idea was really exciting to me. I actually could feel in that moment, like, oh, this is something different. This is going to change things, right? That was pretty exciting. Now, you might also wonder, what did I think of that Melissa Phillippe person, right? Well, I thought she was cool. I didn't get it. I didn't get, like, that's my soulmate up there. I thought, wow, she's really into spiritual practice. That's really cool. I love her devotion to that. I love that she's a creative. She's into creative expression of that message. I also really liked her smart, Alec sense of humor. So I really like that combination, you know, all three. I was like, that's really cool. And I actually went up to her after the talk. I was all excited because I was really excited and on fire when I heard her talk about. And I just thought she was cool. So I go up and I'm all excited, and she had this homemade stole she made, and I thought it was so cool. And she does not remember me. She has this vague memory of this gender-rich person who's all kind of dorky and excited, or like, whatever. So, whatever. So I go off, but I am excited about my practice. So I go and I'm working it, I'm doing my treatment, more amazing than what I can imagine. I'm working that. Now, it's interesting, because this one thing kept happening when I was doing that, was I saw a really specific vision in my mind's eye of a woman with short blonde hair, like really specific. And Melissa said, you know, you're not supposed to be outlining. I'm like, no, I'm not outlining. I'm psychic. My relationship with the divine is so good that I get pictures, yeah. That's what I was thinking. So, you know, and that does happen, right? You get downloads sometimes, you know, that's what I thought was going on. Yeah. So, about a year after the talk that really changed my life, I go to Woman Spirit. Woman Spirit was this retreat that Reverend Georgia Prescott was one of the founders of. Amazing, amazing retreat. So I go to this, and who should be there but the Melissa Phillippe person is there. And this time she wanted to come talk to me. This was not a whatever experience. She came up, and I had a novel published. She heard about it. She wanted to talk to me, so we're chatting away, and it was actually really awesome to talk to her. Not surprisingly, because I knew how awesome she was. And so much so that we're sitting there at the dining table, and other people want to talk to us, and we're like, we don't really want to talk to you. We just want to talk to each other. But it's Woman Spirit, so you have to be all like, namaste. Everyone is welcome. We were like, Nama's not, but it's okay. It's all good. So that was cool to talk to her there. And then afterwards, I went to her for a couple lessons, a little piano lesson. Someone said, oh, that's a good line, then, you know. Can I have some lessons? But I still no clue about what's happening. So I go for some lessons to practice improvising under the prayer. That was a new thing for me. The second of 2 lessons that we had, we talked for 4.5 hours. Yeah. And we both, it was this amazing energy, and we both were saying, I've met my new best friend. And we were really in denial still, not knowing that there was more there, right? Because she thought she was straight, and I was waiting for the woman with short blonde hair. I have my clear psychic vision, because I'm so spiritual like that. So I knew what was going on. But, so we have this period, we call it back in the day now, of just like, oh, new best friend, and like so, just amazing connection, right? And about 2.5 months in, we both realized, oh. Now, we had both been doing a prayer. We had both been treating for a relationship beyond our wildest dreams, beyond what we could imagine. And that's what happened, right? So once we woke up to that, we're like, oh, okay. Cool, but also wow, right? And it's true, because here we are, 10 years later, and not only is this amazing person my wife and life partner, but so many other things have come with that, right? It really is beyond what either one of us could conceive. Ministry and everything else, the whole life. So you might be saying to yourself about now, see, what about the woman with short blonde hair? What about that? Here's what I think about that, is that I think the divine did plant that in my mind, because that unavailable pattern, I was the one who was unavailable, right? So that's why I was attracting that to me. And by having that vision in my head, I was kind of tricked, right? And that time when Melissa and I were first hanging out, I was available. I was open to friendship. I was open to connection. There were no games, nothing, because I had that picture, right? So it was actually the perfect thing. Yeah, it's cool, right? Okay, so here's my question for you. Is there anything that you have been, up until now, up until this moment, unavailable to? Anything? Anything in your spiritual life, your health, your relationships, your vocation, your finances, anything that you're wanting to now, in this moment, open to and co-create with the divine to create something even more amazing than you can imagine? Okay, this is going to talk you through a little process.
So did you all, anybody, okay, let me do it this way, instead of asking you to out yourself. If you have your phrase, think of that and say that in response to this, right? If you don't know your phrase, the phrase you say when you're happily surprised, the oh my God that we use, just use oh my God until you hear yourself say something else. Holy crap, whatever it is that, whatever it is you actually like automatically say, right?
Yeah, and the more like mellow, people might just go, cool.
Yes.
Like if it's not in your wheelhouse, you're like, oh my God, just go, cool.
That's more like what Z does.
That's more like what I do.
So,
cool.
What we're going to do is a little call and response thing. So what I want you to do is close your eyes for one moment and imagine that thing that Z just invited you to think about, that you still have a longing for, you still have a wanting, need. Imagine that you're waking up in the morning, and not only do you have it, you have it in a way that is actually and truly way beyond your wildest imaginings in its awesomeness. Oh my God. So you wake up, you're waking up, you're laying in your bed. I want you to feel what you feel like when you wake up and go, oh my God, I have that thing. And repeat after me. you're going to say your phrase in response. Oh my God. Whatever your phrase is, again. Oh my God. Feel that. Feel that. Oh my God. And you're waking up now, so a little louder. Oh my God. And this is better than I could have imagined.
This is better.
This is way better than I was thinking.
This is way better than I was thinking.
Oh my God. This is beyond my wildest dreams.
This is beyond my wildest dreams.
Yes.
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 Thank you.